And then when Yasin started doing jiu-jitsu, I was just like, I was so happy because I'd been doing jiu-jitsu for a while and then kind of came off of it. And one day he calls me, he's like, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 3 weeks now. He's like, and then he goes, my throat hurts. He's like, does anybody ever choke you and your throat hurts? I'm like, yeah, at the beginning.
How long you been at it? Well, you said 14 years.
I actually started doing jiu-jitsu at Combat Arts and then Extreme Couture, right when Extreme Couture opened. So I was like, I don't know, man.
That's funny because I actually founded Combat Arts.
No way.
Little known fact. We were in a gym called MAFA, which all the MMA gyms in the area were out of MAFA.
I see.
And when they went under, people went in their different directions. Mm-hmm. And myself and a gentleman and two other guys started
Joey
Combat.
And...
Yeah, Dave.
Okay, very
started
cool.
Combat over in Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And then from there to...
that place had a great culture. I haven't been there in years now, but that place had a really cool culture.
Yeah, at a time. I mean, everything changes, right? But not to talk bad about anybody, but things grow and change for sure.
And then they opened Extreme Couture up, and it was like the Walmart. It was like the Mall of America of gyms. You get there, and they're like, yeah, we got Hominick over here. We got like this Iranian gold medalist for wrestling. There's Mark Bocek and Wagner Fabiano.
But you know what happens? It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It doesn't work. You got too many chefs? Too many chefs in the kitchen. Yeah. And everyone's trying to get in the other guy's pocket and who's Hominick and who's Aldo and who's fighting and who's not. You know, for the average person who wants to train, is that really it? To go and star watch or to actually train?
Yeah.
But is it just because the mentality is different and a gym that kind of produces MMA fighters versus like Core is an actual school?
Yeah, gyms can't produce MMA fighters. That's the little known fact that they're slowly catching on to. Like the Ontario scene now has exactly 2 fighters, I think. I mean, Misha's fighting and Elias Theodorou.
That's true.
Who else? There might be one more in terms of UFC or like world level competitors.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for the business. It's totally separate. You have to have your team. Like he's the fighter and we help him.
Yeah.
Like Connor has his guys around him. It's like a box. You don't have a boxing gym for classes is different than boxing. You know, Floyd Mayweather. So
it's interesting because you're seeing a lot more of that. I mean, even on this card, you saw Anthony Pettis with Rufus. What's his coach name?
Oh,
Duke Rufus.
Duke Rufus.
Come on, man. You Tony Rufus.
No, I'm
man.
sorry. I'm like, who's Tony Rufus? I met the guy actually.
You have a picture.
I have a picture with him, a very blurry one. But that was an interesting one because that's a gym that started forming around very young talent like him, Eric Koch, and then just invested in him. And it wasn't like a Jackson's or you know, American Top Team or anything like that.
But that's the thing. Jackson's is not even Jackson's. Like what
Not
you think
anymore.
it is, they're not. And they never really were. The guys come pretty much built. There was a time when it was like a small group, much like you're talking about. And I was going to go there, but I changed my mind.
Right.
And then they became the big gym where everyone goes.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. There's too many guys.
I got
You can't get your work in. You're just sparring, and sparring's good and part of it, but you have to have somebody watching and mentoring and overseeing your development.
Is there enough talent in terms of coaching out there for you know, just really good coaches to foster
one good team,
talk?
one good
in Ontario?
camp?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're world class for sure. The problem is a lot of the talent has left the game. They kind of look back at it. They like stop fighting.
Yeah.
I call my friend Sean Pearson, really good fighter, phenomenal wrestler, great
Daddy.
MMA guy. Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Come back, coach, do something, do a seminar. He's like, nah, I don't want to teach those guys because there's too many unrealistic, you know, fanboys in it that don't want to put the work in, so they go forget it.
Yeah.
And I totally get it, but I'm a bit of a romantic, so I want to help these guys.
No, you've been in the game for a very long time. Like, and it was interesting because like going through your, you know, Wikipedia and ShareDoc, I'm like, Mississauga, born and raised.
Yeah, just around the corner.
down the street.
Just around the corner, like 2 blocks.
So like, and when was your first fight?
Was that 2000? I'm not even sure. I don't know the dates.
And at that point in 2000, MMA or just fighting in general was
wasn't
like
cool,
super
man.
taboo.
It was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh, we have a UFC guy. Like, oh, that's cool. Back then you're like, oh yeah, you guys gonna buy drugs from him? Like,
You're fighting guys in your shorts,
Right.
Vaselined up in a cage. Like, no way, man. Yeah.
cage.
It wasn't cool enough.
I used to do grappling tournaments. Some guys would be like Vaselined up like seals.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people would lay in a tub, just put all sorts of lotion in it, and then come out and let it dry on them.
Ready to
you
go.
start grappling with them, and you're like, what's this? I can't get a hold of this guy.
Ready to go.
And there's no oversight. So back then, were you like just fighting for the love of it and seeing what you could do, or was there like an end goal of some sort?
No, there was no end goal. I mean, it was impossible to make it to the UFC. It was
Right.
Carlos Newton was like the big guy in the area, Canadian champion, UFC champion, a couple other guys, small BJJ community, just a bunch of fight fanatics. So it was like an underground hobby, so to speak. Right. A bunch of us trained together. Carlos was the main guy.
Yeah.
Bocek was like number 2 because he was a high-level jiu-jitsu guy. Jeff Jolson out in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a small circuit of people. We all know each other to this day.
Oh, very cool. I think Sam Zakula, was he managing or?
No, he wasn't managing. Sam was.
I know he's a great, he was my coach for a little while at Jiu Jitsu.
Nice. So there you go, small world. Because me and him connected in '98, secret friends. I was at a club. There's only 2 grappling clubs. You couldn't talk to the other guys. Like if you were at that gym, you can't talk to that.
It's like Cobra Kai over here.
Dead serious, man. Dead. You cannot relate with these other guys at all. No interaction.
Yeah.
But he had videotapes and I had videotapes. I got a tape from Abu Dhabi in 1998, the combat submission wrestling thing. First copy ever. Oh. Like before it came out, like it was in the studio, like here. And my best friend's dad went there, and he's an architect, worked for one of the sheikhs. He's like, you guys like this wrestling stuff. Oh, here's a videotape.
Right.
2 weeks after the event, it's the Abu Dhabi tape.
Right. Wow.
No one in the world had it.
It's like gold. He gave you gold.
This is the crown prince of Abu Dhabi that's throwing a grappling tournament and just throwing money at it.
Yeah.
And like grapplers, like there's money for grappling. Let me get in here.
No one had this tape.
Yeah.
They had not released it yet.
Yeah.
It was like the pre-edited version. So we had it, started trading it on the internet. So me and Sam got in contact. I'm like, where you at? He's in Toronto. I'm in Mississauga.
Yeah.
So we met at 5 and 10 over Dixie and Dundas, or Highway 10 in Dundas.
Yeah.
Just in a side secret meeting. Exchange tapes, right?
Exchanging martial arts knowledge.
And then we started rapping like that. He's talking, he like this guy, like that guy, and we had like similar mindset about training. So we started training together, and eventually I left my gym. He got kicked out of his gym. We just started doing our thing in his basement.
Sam.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's the game, man.
That's what happens. Dang, that's crazy though. And then did you always knew you were going to like, hey, as this thing grows, I'm going to start traveling and fighting? Because we've seen some international fights of you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get to Japan. That never happened, so I might buy a ticket and go at some point.
Right.
But if I fought in Japan, that was the goal. You know, it never happened for some reason, and the scene there died now as well.
Because Pride was it Pride that was big back then?
It was the biggest. It was
Shudo was the thing in my time. I mean, coming up, Shudo was the only show, and then Pride much later. Like,
okay.
But you're looking at guys like Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
What are the odds of you ever fighting on the same card as Ken Shamrock?
Right.
It's not going to happen, but it did.
It's crazy that like Nate Marquardt is from that time, and every now and then he'll still like make rumors about fighting, but he was in Shudo and he went through like Pride, UFC, and all of that. And even now, I'm like,
for sure, these guys, some of them don't know what to. You know, you got to hang it up, and walk away gracefully. You don't want to go out on your shield.
Well, there's some people trying to go on their shield. Well, obviously Mark Hunt definitely already said that he's going to go
Sanchez still fights.
God.
Diego Sanchez still fights.
We got the 2 old guys coming back. Tito's. Isn't it Tito fighting?
That's just sad. That's different.
That's a payday.
That's a payday.
That's a payday because De La Hoya wants to use their names to build his promotion, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So everybody eats off of that. They're going to make some good money.
They asked Vanderlei, like, why are you coming back? And he literally goes, they offer $1 million. What do you want me to say? That's all he just said.
It's about the money, man.
He didn't even try to build it up like we have unfinished business. He's like, hey, dude, just give me $1 million. What do you want me to do?
Like, what more do you want from Vanderlei? The guy's done everything in the cage.
Yeah.
He's won, he's lost, he's had draws, good decisions,
those
bad
Pride
decisions.
fights were some of the most vicious things I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Like,
The soccer kicks, the head stomps.
yeah, the soccer kicks. Like
What
the
is that?
Shogun or the knees to the body on Rampage. I don't know if you saw Vanderlei versus Rampage the first time. But
He was way before Pride, actually. He was like the guy in Brazil.
Yeah.
Shoot box was the Muay Thai versus Jiu-Jitsu. And these guys came and beat the Jiu-Jitsu guys, and he was the one who beat the wrestlers. Mike Van Arsdale was a killer, beating everybody, and Vanderlei took him out.
Right.
And Dan Henderson and a couple other guys. So he was like the wrestler killer, and then he went to Pride.
Right. Mike Sarsdale, man.
Yeah.
All right. You like your sports. Yeah, like, you know, Mike
combat
Sarsdale.
That's who I trained to defeat because he was the best wrestler, like in MMA at the maybe of all time at this point.
Right.
And I never fought him, but ended up training under him. Funny enough, so I just kind of
Every now and then just give it to him a little bit.
No, he's, even his late 40s, Coach Vans, he's a killer.
I can imagine. Those people don't get soft. I can say like, even you. I mean, I think your last fight was 2011 or something, 12.
Well, I'm plenty soft right now, man. I got to get down in the weight, get more training in. Baby,
No, you look like you're in good shape, man.
baby life, man. My daughter's born. She's a year and a half, so that's kind of taking me away from the whole thing. But now I'm getting back to
That's
business.
amazing.
Yeah.
You ever think like, oh, she's gonna fight? Ever?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Wait,
No
that's
way.
interesting.
No way.
Yeah.
No fighting for
Yeah,
her.
nobody wants their kid to get like, no, nobody wants to. I don't even.
Well, I imagine just basic jiu-jitsu.
I'm sure
that's fine.
Yeah,
but
it's not a professional fighter.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that.
It's a different game now. It was before. It was a pure martial arts kind of like test your style versus the other person. I want to see who wins. Everyone does all the same styles now.
And it's such a different. I mean, look at where we are
promotion,
today.
yeah.
Yesterday was last night was Conor and Khabib.
Oh my God.
At one point, you know, like in Japan, they used to pretend like Bushido, you know, this art and that art.
Samurai.
Now we got these guys. And man, there's no pretense.
Well, that was striker versus grappler, though.
That was at the fight was its purest form.
The fight was
like
great.
An art versus an art.
That's true. You know
because
what?
like the coming up to the fight, everyone's talking about like, all right, this is if it's gonna be this way, if it gets him to the ground, it's gonna be game over. If it's gonna be standing up, he's still, even if you rotate away from that left hand, Conor will find that chin and put it through you.
We have to just use critical thinking and turn off the podcast sometimes.
Get a little close to that mic.
Just watch the fight.
Yeah, thank you.
Conor's left hand, this killer left hand, does not exist above 145. He knocks guys out, but he's not going to death touch you like they say. Like, he's not a killer puncher. Darren Till at 170, a much harder puncher than he is at 170, right?
Yeah.
He hit Diaz with the kitchen sink, didn't knock him out. So, he's fine. Khabib outstruck him.
I feel like the Diaz brothers are built with like a different type of material.
They take shots really well.
Yeah.
They do take shots really well. But
They also roll with it a little bit better as well. I think because they're boxers.
They box, right? So they know how to roll with the punches, but that all adds up too. It's going to come back on them later in life.
I think this fight, as crazy as it got after the fight itself was still like amazing. It's one of the best fights I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was good.
Surprising striking from Khabib as well.
He's a good striker, man.
He landed some good shots throughout that fight.
I just don't like how he backs up when he
put his chin up.
Yes, every now and then I'm like, why are you standing like that? Why are you standing like that?
He backs straight up with his chin this way.
He's a great striker, great ground, very complete fighter, but he can't beat GSP. So now we're in a bit of limbo here. Like, what's going to happen next?
Wait, you just threw that out there. He can't beat GSP.
Well, I know where they're going with this.
Okay.
See, this is going to be a 4-way title runoff. It'll be GSP Conor, Tony Ferguson, and Khabib.
Oh man,
because the title wasn't put on him. So what's going to happen now? GSP's
no, they gave it to him. They probably gave it to him in the back.
No,
right?
they didn't give it to him. They've held his purse.
They've held his purse. I know. Oh man.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know about the belt, but they definitely held the purse. So that means the announcement doesn't go through either, right?
You're also watching Free Fight on the internet today. You can't even have a UFC picture on the internet without it being taken down.
Yeah.
Usually, so they're pushing something. They want people to see this.
Yeah.
Trust me.
True. That's true.
Something's
They're building
coming
up.
Yeah. And George is really light right now. Yeah. He's fighting at 55.
Yes.
He seems getting lighter and lighter. He knows where the money is.
He keeps getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah, he's trying to get the money weight. That's what he's trying to get to.
Why should he fight all these hard fights? He's done all his work, man. He's almost 40.
Right.
Like, let him get his money fight, and we want to see him fight those guys, not Tyrone Woodley.
Right, he doesn't need to fight Whittaker.
No, it doesn't exactly.
Nobody wants to see.
No one wants to see that.
Why?
George get hurt.
He put in his work. Now you can cash out, give him a couple super fights.
I completely agree, and it's crazy that he set himself up like that. Like, retiring for a while when Hendricks left, and he's like, "I'll just wait when the money's right."
Yeah.
And now he's gonna come back and.
Smart.
Good for him, yeah.
Smarter, yeah. You have to know that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
It's undeniable with like how much eyeballs and attention that Conor and money has brought to the game, where like people are gonna.
Yeah, Conor has done some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Conor, coming up to this fight has been interesting because a lot of people are talking. Well, let's just talk about the debacle after the fight. The fight after the fight. So the thing is that coming up to this fight, Conor is doing the Conor thing. So he's doing his trash talk.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like I felt like with Khabib, he had so much more to reach into, right? He was calling him a Dagestani rat. He was like insulting his dad. He was he was like, the alcohol thing.
You're asking for it, man.
He was like, even on the press conference, he poured alcohol, like the whiskey, and he was offering it to Khabib. Khabib's like, I don't drink. And he's like, what type of backward shit are you? Or something along those lines. Like, you're poking the bear in a place that you don't want to be poked, and the bear's not taking it as a minor nuisance. He's like, it's going in somewhere. It's a tank, and he's telling you, I'm taking this personally.
Mind you, he didn't do anything except for beat him up in the cage. Khabib did nothing post-fight that was illegal.
Yeah.
It was two guys who jumped in the cage, and Conor hit one of those guys first.
Yes. And
so,
see, that's
the other thing. He hit that guy first.
I'm impressed because
I catch everything, man.
I watched so much on YouTube today, and everyone's talking about that, and no one said that one thing. You are absolutely correct. So Khabib jumps over the cage and does like a flying like foot kind of thing into Dylan Dennis.
I gotta tell you, I don't want to cut you off, but he's my hero, and his feet hurt today because the height from the top of the octagon to the floor is a ridiculously high distance. I jumped off the octagon once, so concrete floor. The bottom of my feet were bruised for weeks.
Oh, man.
So him doing that jump kick, much respect.
He really wanted him.
Much respect.
There's a picture. I'll show it to you later after I'm finished talking. There's a picture of like Dylan going like this as the eagle is in the air coming towards him. So anyway, that happens. Now okay, so the octagon's here. He jumps over. Then, Conor is trying to jump over as well because he's attacking his camp. I get that. Right. But there's Khabib's camp jumps over the fence on the far side, run across the octagon, and then try to jump the fence right beside where Conor's jumping as well.
Right.
So he's doing that and he's jumping off. As he was about to jump off, Conor just swings and gives him a good left in the face.
What are they doing in the cage, though?
No.
They should get punched.
I'm not saying.
Why are they in there?
Listen. I'm not saying.
What are they doing in there?
I'm just saying.
You can go around.
I'm just saying.
It's not that big of an octagon.
Okay. Conor, that guy was going for someone else. He wasn't going for Conor.
Why is he in the cage?
I know.
Why are you in the cage with the guy who just fought? Bad things may happen.
So Conor hits him in the face. Now this guy is like, all right, I guess I'm fighting you now.
I guess we're fighting now.
Right? He takes the hat, starts beating Conor with a pop-up cow, whatever it's called. And then another guy circles around, jumps behind Conor, what's up with
that guy?
Yeah, that's what's up with that guy. That guy's
he's back up, man. He saw what happened.
Jumps in.
I like how all of Khabib's guys look just like Khabib. Like they just look like different variations of Khabib.
Of height.
Yeah, straight up. The guy that came up from behind, I'm like, hey, sneaky.
So that goes down, and then and that was it. It was sad, but like I want to know what Dylan was saying.
We're making way too much of this.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Riddick Bowe versus Andrew Golota?
No. I've seen, was it Tyson, where there was like mayhem back in the day?
That's nothing. Riddick Bowe versus Andrew Golota is a stadium race riot.
Ooh.
Polish versus blacks in the States.
Oh, let's watch
that.
Can you watch
That's crazy. Yes, that's crazy. You watch that. That's outside the stadium, in the ring, 25 minutes.
We're not just used to it in the UFC, that's all.
Yeah, but it's a
because I know
fight.
Strikeforce had that with like the Diaz guys and who was it? It was maybe Mayhem or somebody.
KJ Nunes.
It
was nothing.
Yes.
It was
but
nothing
Mayhem
crazy.
got in there too for some reason. He was in the cage.
It was nothing crazy. And I mean, this is not super high class stuff. It's gladiatorial combat, man.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, this is not the.
But a lot of eyeballs on this one, and I think that's why it just felt worse than it was.
They want it anyway. They pretend they don't, but they want this.
Yeah,
it's going to sell more fights.
They definitely do.
I just need to show
that is hilarious.
There's Khabib in midair.
Yeah.
Look at that guy though. He's got his hands up. He's like, oh shit.
I said too much.
This is really happening.
Yeah, I know. He's here now with that guy.
I mean, he's a decent little fighter, but he's not what he's taught. Like
in the embedded, he was saying that
himself up way so high. Mm-hmm. Have you seen him fight?
No.
His stand-up is laughable. He's not. I mean, I can get off the couch now and beat him up. Like,
see,
off the couch.
Yo, breaking news: Claude Patrick
calls out Dylan Daniels.
I mean, I would take that fight tomorrow. Seriously, like
Dylan. What's your address? Come to the backyard.
But he's in everyone's mouth now because he's talked himself into that position, right?
Yeah, it's true.
His name is everywhere. Now he has to back it up, and he can't. So what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You got a guy eagle jump kicking him from the top of the octagon, and he's like scared to death.
Yeah. Right.
That's the least of it.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying about they say they don't like it, but they love it.
Well, they love it.
Yeah. Conor throws a dolly. Right? Dana looks at the camera all somber and is like, it's a despicable act.
Yeah, he was.
I am disappointed. This is not how we conduct ourselves. And then like a couple months later, every promo is just Conor throwing dollies over and over into a bus.
Did you guys watch like wrestling coming up?
Yeah.
How many parkade attacks have we seen? Like the NWO guys attacking the ambulance, attacking the bus. It's always in the underground parking garage.
Around everywhere where they don't even need parkades.
It's always in the underground parking garage, right? And they always have the cameras there. Yeah. And there's always 40 guys running in. Yeah. Conor took it too far by throwing the thing at the bus, but that was all staged, man.
Yeah.
That was staged.
I felt like they were like, yeah, he's going to do something. You didn't expect him to do that.
Yeah. Why do you have 30 guys with you? What are you doing?
How'd you all get down here?
Yeah.
How did nobody stop this until the
camera?
You're in the basement.
How many layers of security you went through for you to be able to get here?
It's all fake, man. It's fake. But you know what? People want to suspend reality. We like the entertainment.
Yeah,
ultimately, it's a build up to the fight. The fight was great, so whatever.
When they do this again, I bet you we're gonna see like him
this
flying
promo.
that thing up like 1,000 times.
Would you watch a rematch?
I was a big fan of how that fight went down, and I feel like it can go differently, possibly.
Really?
I think so, man.
I think it'd be way more dominant for Khabib next time.
Yeah.
Because he knows now that this guy doesn't really have that pop on his punch. No problem. Yeah.
That first takedown that Khabib did, where he just threw himself at him, like at his legs,
just with reckless, almost looked like a reckless.
I felt like McGregor in the first 3 minutes, or McGregor loses. I felt like he was gonna either catch him in the first 3 minutes, and he zapped him. Khabib just zapped the energy out of him.
Just
but
get your
you're
hands on him
right.
somehow.
I feel like if they fought 10 times, I would say 8 times Khabib would win, hands down.
It's funny because you can only say that until after watching this fight.
Yeah.
Just the day before, you're like, I don't know, Conor's left hand.
Sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Left hand's a bit of mysticism. He hits fairly hard at lighter weight classes, but he's not a killer. Put him against a high level boxer. He's not a, Mayweather carried him. And
that Aldo knockout just.
Yes, that's what cements it for everyone.
Right. Because Aldo, everybody has a breaking point like Chuck Liddell and Rampage or whoever, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys. And that for me was like Aldo was at a certain level right before that where he was near untouchable. And after that, he's been decent. He, had a couple of good fights. Frankie Edgar, he beat. But until then, I'd never seen anybody do that to Aldo. And McGregor talked all this shit, and he stirred him up.
Yeah. He did exactly what he said he would. He's going to run forward, hit him with the left hand.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from the guy. He's a great fighter, but he's not a supreme level puncher like they're saying. He's just not.
Yeah. I got you. Well, his superpower is talking up a good game.
He's getting money. He's getting money. I can't hate on that.
You see how awkward Tony Ferguson was after his fight? Just yelling into the mic, Connor with the cursing.
It's so weird.
Yeah, they're trying. But he's a good fighter.
Tony Ferguson's
fighter.
crazy.
I pick him over. Well, if he didn't, he'd get counterpunched to death by Connor. But if he took it down, I think he'd win.
Yeah.
What do you think he would do with Khabib?
Yeah.
Like he's a pressure fighter.
He might win that because he likes the darts a lot. And Khabib seems to go after the legs, so
right.
I pick him against Khabib.
Yeah, Khabib loves those legs.
But I pick Kevin Lee over both guys, so I think
All right. Do you think Kevin Lee's best stuff is yet to come then?
For sure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He's a bit of a disaster in terms of like mentality, but if he just calms down, he can do his
He's
thing.
26 though or something, right?
Yeah,
Still got some time.
26.
Still got some time to like.
Too emotional, and
Yeah.
you hit him, he'll try to hit you back. But if he's calm, he's a very, very good athlete.
He's very smart. I've heard him on 3 different podcasts, and he's
great.
like very cerebral
Yeah, he's
about
very
his
great.
approach to everything. Very
Really?
scientific. Yeah.
Yeah, when the Joe Rogan podcast was like super impressive.
Really?
Yeah. He was great.
There you go. I just said he was a disaster based on what I haven't watched him fight. I never thought he'd be.
Wait, that might be his fight. Like his
You never
like
know, though.
when he's in the zone of the fighting
But
is
he
like that.
seemed
But
like
when
very calculated and like had a very good approach to
doesn't
everything.
seem like John Jones, where it feels like it's John Jones has always hit me as like a serial killer, really trying to
Pretend
make
he's
people
normal.
look like he's normal.
Yeah, just like I don't bite.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's just like it seems like he's faking it. It's on the cracks on the edges of his character. It's so weird. But all right, before we go to because John Jones, there's plenty to talk about John Jones right now. But the beast. It's a beast. What's it? Derek Lewis.
The Black Beast, man.
Black Beast. There we go. Black
I like
Beast.
how he didn't even want to say black around you. He was like,
No, because I was like, I was just like, did I say was it actually Black Beast or was it just Beast? Because that would be a problem,
that would
bro.
be funnier if you put black in your own brain. You're just like,
Yeah, see, that's what it was. I was
that would have been
unsure.
crazy if you said the black beast and you're like, hey, dude, it's the beast.
It's just
Calm down.
Yeah.
He probably has the very best post-fight interviews ever.
Did you see this?
I've been following him. He's very
Did
entertaining.
you see what
guy.
happened last night, though?
Yeah, we
With
took
this
his pants
post-fight?
off or whatever.
Took his pants off.
Jeremy is like, hey, why don't you take your pants off? He's like, my balls got hot.
Yeah. But that all being said, he's a great character, but
Yeah.
he's a good example where things are in UFC right now.
Yeah.
He can't fight for the title. And he said it. I'm not ready for the title. And he's not.
It's that division, too, though. The heavyweight has always been like...
Who else is there?
Can you pull up,
Stipe.
can you pull up a
Stipe.
top 10 for the heavyweight? But you know how heavyweight has always been the weakest top to bottom. Even when the top was kind of heavy with Kane and whatnot.
Without
But
Kane
it's
and them, you don't get
Tim
much.
Sylvie and Andre Arlovsky and like a whole bunch of guys.
No,
with
those guys are
problems.
way better than actually the Black Beast might beat them, but I still think they're better than him. If that makes
Oh
any
yeah,
sense.
no, I agree. I'm
If that
not
makes
saying
any
this
sense.
guy's anything.
Like last night, it was one heavy
Yeah.
punch. Man.
I feel like
wow.
this guy's proved how weak the division is.
Yeah,
where
you can
just have a.
He has
big-
that one right hand, and
Yeah.
that's it.
And the same combination, too. 1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2.
I feel
Can't
like
take
if
it.
anybody
1,
gets
2.
big enough to be a heavyweight, they might have a chance. And if you like, I feel like if Yasin got big enough to be a legit heavyweight, there's
take
such little talent up there. I feel
Come on,
like.
why are you picking on him?
Hey,
I don't
thanks,
know,
man.
man.
Thanks, man. I can do a
do
1,
it,
2,
bro.
3, I
Get
think.
some cheeseburgers.
You know
on
the thing is that the bone mass it's different. You can
Yeah.
pump yourself up, but when they hit you, you really
right.
feel it later.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, I'm going to rattle off some names here.
Top 10?
Champion, Daniel Cormier. After that, Stipe, Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, who's not that bad.
Yeah, he's good.
Francis Ngannou. He was
yeah.
kind of exposed the last fight.
No, he's a disaster.
Yeah.
But you give me that guy, and 1 year later, you've got a champion, man.
You think so?
Give me that guy, and 1 year later, you've got a champion. I don't know what they're doing with his training,
Right.
But he's a freak, man.
So if you had to, like, you take him and you train him, where would you take him first?
A boxing gym.
Yeah?
A boxing gym. You guys get too mystical with their stand up. Learn to punch, plant your feet, punch properly, move your head.
Yeah.
Footwork as well. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Boxing, wrestling, and his counter jiu-jitsu. Know how to navigate the ground, because you're going to get a big guy like that and teach him rubber guard. You're wasting your time. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's good for some people, but he knows how to navigate the ground in terms of getting up at the bottom position, defending, getting back to his feet. And he's a killer, man.
Throw those lunch boxes. All right, we got Alexander Volkov, Alistair Overeem, which that's old news now.
Alistair's still in the game.
Come on, Alistair, please. After what happened to your brain the last fight, please. Dos Santos, who's always fun to watch.
And always hurt.
Yeah, always hurt. Yeah, Alexei.
Yeah, I said.
That's about it.
Marcin, and then Mark Hunt, number 10. That's it.
That's not that bad.
There's like four decent fighters in there.
So how is he? If you're gonna pick of those guys, who does the Black Beast defeat? Of the guys you just listed, I can't pick him against any of them in good conscience.
No, I can't. I just don't even think I don't think he can stay up for 5 minutes, man.
But he did last night.
Yeah,
he did last night.
He put the very last bit of his power in that.
I didn't realize
punch.
how he got him though. I was like, I thought he's done. I didn't think you can muster that.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
There was portions of that fight where just both of them were standing in front of each other, just panting at each other.
Yeah.
You see the effect drug testing is having on the fights now?
Yeah.
I wish I was fighting at this point. I'm watching the guys before. I'm like, holy smokes, how are you going 25 minutes without sweating? Now you see the guys tired. They're human.
Yeah.
I've never done any drugs. So I'm like, it'd be a lot of fun now. Yeah.
It was, I was finding that in jiu-jitsu, there were tournaments where like even people on my team.
Oh, yeah. Your gym was profoundly known for that.
How dare you? How dare you say that right after me? But yeah, that was weird. That was confusing.
It doesn't make any sense because you're recreational. It's not your profession, and you're going to change your life. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was working at a bank. I was like, maybe I should have, like, maybe what am I doing? Like, what am I thinking about doing steroids while holding down a job? But yeah, it's crazy how much some people are never the same again. I mean, Hendricks is the least of it, but
man,
that guy just isn't the same human being anymore.
He is the golden example of what happens when you take that away.
But don't you want a little, like sometimes you're like, hey, can't we get Vitor a little bit?
Yeah.
There's like, shouldn't there be another like league where like you have, people who want to fight and are a little bit over the hill?
That's in Japan.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, over the hill when they're old and they're fighting.
Not too old.
It's not that
but
good.
Just out of their.
How about Rampage and Vandalay? Did you guys like that one?
That'd be good.
The one that just
Did it already happen?
You guys didn't see it?
No.
Oh, wow. You guys didn't watch Bellator?
Not that. No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Roy McDonald and
I just watched that fight. Yeah, we just watched that fight.
That was a great fight. I didn't watch the rest of it.
Rampage and Vandalay was okay.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I watched it. What happened?
Bad.
Give us the play-by-play.
The same thing as you saw last night with the Black Beast.
Oh, man.
Got him with a punch, took him down, punched him a couple times, stopped it.
Yeah.
Then he like howled and stuff.
No, he didn't have that. He didn't have that aggression anymore.
No way. Oh, that sucks.
Aaron Pico was on that.
Yes.
That thing.
Yep.
Aaron Pico was fantastic. I just been watching highlights of Aaron Pico. That left hook.
Yep.
Turning people off.
All right.
So he knocked a guy out in that fight.
Yep.
Light switched while he was standing, then falls. The fight before that, he hit someone in the liver. Body shot. Guy
Again,
gets hit. And
a boxer, right? Nothing magical. He knows how to move his head, throw those hands, plant his feet. This is what guys need as a base instead of this neo boxing where they're switching their stance and dominant cruising it. Like that's not really cutting it.
I'm not saying that's getting popular, but there's a few guys at the top. But like, I mean, Dillashaw also has where he doesn't sit down on his punches.
When he fights Pico, he's going to sit down on the punches, or he's going to sit down.
You think Pico's coming?
No, Bellator is going to be the premier league in the near future. So I don't think they have the much better young fighters, and they're grooming them, taking guys as young as like 1-0 or 2-0, taking them, giving them developmental fights, and they're grooming the guys. So yeah, they're smart.
I wonder at some point if the UFC comes in with like a little purse, and they're like, "Hey, we got a purse for you. You like purses?"
No, well, the thing is, Viacom owns Bellator, so they've got way more money than the UFC guys do. So they don't. It's not a money thing, right?
Right. I don't know. I don't know if Viacom wants to pay. Then again, I don't know if UFC wants to pay. I just imagine at the end of the day, there'd be more money overall in the UFC than Bellator. But I guess it's whoever wants to invest in it at that time.
And things change too, right? Like it's just the way the fights are going and the sponsorship. You have to have the UFC sponsorship. Whereas in Bellator, you can get whatever you want. So that helps a lot of the fighters.
That's always been a problem. Once when they signed that Reebok deal,
yes,
it
guys
was
are like,
an issue.
I'm out of here.
A lot of people left.
People were pretty. Before that, I used to like it when some fighters would just have some random like Condom Depot.
That's it, man.
Big stamp on their ass, or like
Chuck's Pizza from around the corner.
Yeah.
Chuck gave you $100,000. Okay, you got it, man.
Chuck, I sell your pizza. Yeah, there were all sorts of weird things.
Yeah,
that was fun times. I miss all of that. I genuinely miss that nostalgic period where. I don't know. It was like so much fun. Well, so much more fun.
Yeah. We got what we asked for.
Those crazy
to make the sport mainstream. They said they wanted to be mainstream, and it is now. So can't really complain about it, but it does come with its ups and downs for sure.
The characters, though, I liked
and the weird entrances,
and like See, now they'll go over the backgrounds and stuff, but back in the day, it's like, yeah, this guy, he used to be a trucker or some shit, you know? Or like, I like those throwbacks. Who's the immortal? Matt Brown?
Yeah, Matt Brown.
I like the fact that he was on drugs and died for a while and came back to life. You know, I like that in him.
Yeah, that man actually died and came back.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
He's still fighting? Still fighting, right?
No, I think he's done.
He's done?
I think he's good.
After he threw that elbow.
That was one of the best sequences I've ever seen in my life, when he caught Diego's leg and then like hit him like an elbow as hard as lightning and just took the life out of him before he hit the ground.
Crazy.
Diego's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He's got to go.
He's not even the same person probably anymore.
Great fighter at one time, but now it's a long.
Somebody's got to sit him down, like Saulo Ribeiro or somebody, and be like, "Hey, man, no bueno, no bueno."
I feel like some of these people have a hard time. Like some of these fighters have a hard time. Like there's nothing that matches up with what they felt in the ring.
Was that tough for you, or
how's that with you?
About that?
My thing was turning it down in a fight, so I'm kind of lucky in that way. Like my first fight, I went in there, and my adrenaline was just so high. Like the energy is so high, so I practiced a lot, toning everything down so I could stay calm.
Yeah.
So leading up to a fight, that rush is not really there because I'm really controlling that. So leaving it's no big deal. But I can see how some guys, like Evanderlei Silva, is never going to leave it. He needs to have the crowd cheering, the this, the that. Like post-fight, I'm not going to the after party. I'm going home, you know? So it's kind of like just a different personality. But for some guys, they need to be that guy. They got to be fighting somebody. They need that dark cloud over their head, the training camp 24/7. Yeah, it's just... When I saw the changes coming, I kind of fell out of love with the whole process.
Did you, like, at that point started shifting towards, all right, you know what, I do have a love for the sport and I want to start, you know, passing this knowledge on? Or when did you start making that transition?
I was always teaching, way before fighting, right? So I was always teaching, and it was just, I want to test what I was doing. Yeah, like the jiu-jitsu I do is based for a fight. So, okay, there's fights here. I'm going to go and test it out instead of talking about it, putting up YouTube videos and pretending I'm an expert without testing myself. So,
right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you were like, go ahead.
No, it's just... I'm just remembering how, like, you know, the first day I walked into Core and just was like, I don't know about this. The last combat thing I've ever done was when I was in grade 12 in community center karate, which I once told Syed this. Syed, okay, so Syed isn't. Okay, so I love Syed. Syed's my best friend, but sometimes ridiculously brutally honest.
Okay.
To the point that sometimes it hurts the heart. But he does
sound like you're about to cry right now.
No, it's because I'm like pushing off a cough.
Flashbacks, man.
So he told me that he did jiu-jitsu, and as part of the conversation of like, oh, you do that? I did karate. He's like, no, you didn't.
No,
you didn't.
I didn't want you to think you knew something and get yourself into trouble.
He did it for the love, man.
Yeah, like, hey, what if this guy thinks he knows something?
He's protecting him.
See somebody purse gets stolen, and he's like, "Aya!"
That's real though. The false sense of security people have in their training,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the jiu-jitsu and the other reality-based styles. You test what you're doing, so you know where you stack up.
For sure. Right. And so I knew that I had to do something different. I wanted to do something because, like, really, this idea in my head was, you know, if I'm walking downtown Toronto late night, and then some guy decides that he wants to pick a fight or whatever, something happens, chances are the guy who's trying to pick the fight, he was in a fight last week too. The last time I fought, fighting.
Good point, man.
Was like 10 years ago, right? In what reality do I think that I'm anywhere close to being prepared or like even have a plan? I have no plan. I don't even know what to do. And so that motivation, apart also listening to like 1,000 episodes of Joe Rogan, he eventually said, all right, cool, I'm going to go to the thing. But I didn't want to tell anyone. So this is why I didn't even tell him that. I just showed up and went to class. And I remember the first class, I went to the wrong class.
Uh-oh.
So instead of going
to the mixed class, huh?
Instead of going to the regular beginner class, I went to the core gi class.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I was rolling with Thar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Reality check.
Oh boy.
There's that guy on the street fighting every week.
And then there's after that, I felt like it's just everyone was made out of concrete slabs. And like incredibly hard to move. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just being ragdolled.
Yeah.
Right. And then for some reason, like despite getting some little level of hurt, I was like, all right, I have to come back.
Well, here's the thing.
I had to come back.
You started because you wanted to defend yourself against some guy walking down the street in the alley.
Yeah.
How many street fights have you been in since that time?
0.
None. How many street fights do you think you'll be in the next year? Probably none.
None, yeah.
But you don't plan on quitting jiu-jitsu because you're not going to be fighting these guys in the streets, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they have this, I think, almost irrational fear, and they practice these self-defense katas and combinations that they don't really, can even do and don't really need.
Yeah.
But there's so many benefits from training you can get outside of doing that.
Sure.
And, you'd be able to, you against a guy who doesn't train, you're not winning the world championship tomorrow, but you'd brutalize a guy who doesn't train even way bigger than you right now. Right. So a little bit of knowledge in the art's so powerful.
Yeah. It's it's changed my life. It really has. I absolutely love going. I've never been this motivated to do something that hard all the time. Like going to the gym is like I don't want to go.
That's hard.
Whatever. I don't want to go to the gym, but like to go to jiu-jitsu, even though I'm still, I'll be honest with you, I'm still kind of nervous every time that I'm driving up. I'm like, oh boy,
what are you nervous about, man?
I don't know. I'm a nervous human being, right? And
Pulls
then
up nervous.
I'll come in, but I still will always show up. It's like it's the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
And he'll call me all excited afterwards, like, say it. This guy left his arm on there. I made it pay.
I took it, but
yeah, he's like, I got it. I got to say it.
The thing is, you're not competing with anyone, really. That's the beauty of it. It's just developing yourself, because maybe I can beat you, but he's going to leg lock me to death. And I can beat him in every other way but that leg lock, and that's his up over me. So I've got to find a way to you just keep building. Snowball effect, right?
Yeah.
So
it's super fun.
Yeah.
Is this what you wanted when you opened a school? You're like, what were you trying to create, and how has everything been turning out since?
It's changed, man. It was originally just training for myself. When I left the gym, I started when I was at combat. They went a different direction, so I took my stuff, left, started in the bottom of a doctor's office, a squash court. Put some match down there. We just started rumbling, all the area tough guys. And then from there, we got a bigger spot that snowballed, added classes, still kind of a fight gym. And then in the UFC run, I do my camps elsewhere, but training there. After the UFC, I realized that, you can share martial arts with a lot more people than just the fighters, and making a realistic training for people in a variety of ways, from, fitness to learning the arts to competition, is pretty much the direction I want to go with it.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, and there's something I like about this, like Core, is the fact that it doesn't just reward the super tough guy. Right, because there's some people who will be there's different types of people that come, and so like there's gonna be people who have never done any combat sports whatsoever. They've never even, I'm an only child, so I haven't even play fighted with an older brother. So like that's a different type of thing. So when you come there, you don't want to, like, I did get kind of smashed the first little while, but it wasn't enough to be like, I can't do this.
No one's malicious, right?
Exactly, that's exactly it. Most people are like super kind. And that's what's good, because it allows people to like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but you kind of have an opportunity to find a little bit of comfort every time you show up.
Think about Stephanie. Stephanie, green belt, Asian girl.
Oh yeah, I know.
This girl, she came in. I'm like, she ain't gonna make it. Please don't have her sign up. I don't want her to get killed here.
Right.
She's like the most cerebral assassin on the mat now. Super technical, does things I can't do. Wins all the tournaments. I'm like, how's this even possible?
Yeah.
Like people they really emerge.
I was actually at your place for a tournament. It was such a great atmosphere.
Oh, the in-house one?
Yeah,
we came in to watch
Nice.
it. Yeah.
That was you guys have like a really friendly, and this was a competition day, but it was like everybody was supporting each other, yelling instructions.
Because, I mean, it's not a fight. Like when you really are in a fight, you know what that is. So I don't have to make this the weekend fight, me versus you. Like it's crazy. I need him to compete against, so we're working together to better ourselves.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's it's been transformative.
We got to get this guy back on the mats, man. He's thinking,
I know, man.
He's thinking, what? There's training like this out there?
I tore my ACL a couple of times.
I've done it twice.
Yeah, it feels actually great now. I just started like working out heavy. Everything feels good, so I'll start getting into it. I'd love to do like just get back into it. Maybe do a beginner's tournament or something. See what happens.
He's about that rubber guard. He likes that.
That's why you got the ACL issues, man.
No, that's not what it was.
That's why you got the ACL issues.
This is a guy just shooting into me and putting his shoulder into my knee. So that's gonna happen every now and then. But yeah, no, I used to watch a ton of YouTube videos on everything, and then going to Extreme Couture and seeing what worked. It's so cool that like there's so many styles out there and everything.
Oh yeah.
And like Yasin's doing gi now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. This guy was so like pain adverse, and he's like, it hurts good.
Coming in like icing. It's weird. It is definitely weird. But yeah, anyway. Thanks for building Core. It's been a huge part of my
pleasure,
life.
man. We're still going. I appreciate you guys supporting it.
No, for sure. And maybe we can get Syed back on the mats at some point.
Maybe we'll do that.
Through.
I'll swing through.
Probably the weekends you're already in Mississauga anyway.
All right, we'll make it happen.
See? There you go. Coach Claude, thank you so much for hanging out.
Anything you want to plug? Anything on Instagram or?
No, I'm not really on the IG too strong.
All right, sounds good.
That being said, his IG is pretty darn good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
I like it. You like his constant updates.
Really?
It's like, yeah. You
Which one are you talking about?
Core.
Oh, man, I got at Core BJJ.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
There we go. Excellent. All right, people, change your lives. Go do some BJJ. All right. Take care of yourselves. People will be back in a week. Good night.